Hello, beautiful soul. It's Stacy and Forrest with Shakti Tribe, and we are 5D radical sacred feminists. We're exploring the yoga goddesses, also known as the Mahavidyas, who give us strength and courage during this precious time of the Great Shift. And today we are going to be talking about one of our most beloved goddesses that many of you have possibly seen. She is known as the warrior goddess, and her name is Kali Ma. We have a very special relationship with Kali Ma here at Shakti Tribe, and we practice something called Bhakti Yoga, which is actually devotion to the sacred feminine. So when we dig into the energy of Kali Ma, she's not fighting against something that is outside of her. She's actually fighting for. She's fighting for our souls. She's fighting for our true essence. And she's, in that sense, a true soul warrior. And Forrest, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit to introduce us to one of our favorite goddesses, Kali.
Thank you, Stacy. Hello, I'm Forrest, and Kali, she's known as the Dark One, or the Dark Goddess, or the Dark Mother. She's often depicted with very dark blue to black skin, and her skin is described as like made up of the universe itself, so that depth of darkness and space in the universe, that's like her skin. And Kali literally means time in Sanskrit, and in that context, she is the creator and destructor of time itself. So she exists in this quantum understanding of time and space, where she encompasses all of it. And in that way, she also encompasses you. She's already within you. She's not something that's only outside of you, but she is outside of you and inside of you. There's a lot of ways in which Kali eliminates duality and brings you into a place of singularity and oneness with all, including oneness with your emotions, both pleasant and unpleasant. But there is an aspect to Kali of fierce love is the best way to describe it, where she will reveal truth to you whether it hurts or not. The truth that you're ready to hear and see and witness, so that you can move past it into a higher version of yourself. And she accelerates self-realization. In a nutshell,
presents affirmation, energy, and I love it. Fierce love, right? Like, and we can take that into feminism and say sacred rage, right? So that's beautiful. So Forrest and I, we had intended to tell the story of Kali, and it's so appropriate for our time. And the story goes something like this. Due to some demons, and we can call the demons emanations of greed, lust, corruption, ego, have overtaken the earth. Sex trafficking, taken over the earth. Disrespect for women and the feminine, taken over the earth. And they were given a lot of power because they had done some prayers to the gods, and they were actually rewarded, and they were rewarded with their wish, which was to never be destroyed. by any man, by any man. So they basically ran amok. They've moved into the God's house and they've taken over the earth. And the earth is, you know, and it's being, the creatures on the earth are hanging on in a balance, or it's badly out of balance, and violence has taken over. Does this sound familiar? And the gods, they don't know what to do because they can't stop the demons, because they've given them the gift of eternal life, and no man can destroy them. And they all get together and they're thinking like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, let's call upon Ma Kali. She can help us out, right? So they do their, you know, ceremonies, and they pray and they conjure Ma Kali, and she appears. Go with this, Forrest. What happens when she appears?
Well, when you look into the literature and into the different lineages, there are a few different stories about how this goes. And the one I'm most familiar with is the gods asking Durga for help. And when Durga goes to slay this demon, the problem she runs into is that every drop of blood that hits the ground creates another one. So the more she slices and dices, the more this particular demon multiplies and it gets more overwhelming. And this reminds me of something about our modern day feminism, where we have been trying to use the power of the masculine in our pursuit of liberation, and what's it leading to. So when Durga realizes this, she calls Kali forth from her third eye. And Kali's fierceness and her and the vast void of the multiverse within her womb has no problem slaying and consuming this demon and drinking every last drop of blood so that he can no longer multiply.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we often see her with her tongue out. And she's got all these demon heads, which represent ego, anything that keeps us from our higher self.
Yeah.
So this is really powerful now, because we can see this playing out on the world stage, where a lot of things are being exposed. It could be our collective and our individual shadows are being exposed. And then it's like, well, what are we going to do with that? And to me, what's happening is, you know, we can look at her. Kali is an aspect of Mother Earth. She represents the cycle of birth and death, and Durga Ma, you know, Mother Earth. And if I was just to say it in a very brief sentence, she's saying, hey kids, it's time to grow up. You shall respect me, regard me, and all of the women and girls on the earth and the feminine energy. If you choose not to play this new game, or this new consciousness, new consciousness is coming in. We're moving out of dominator consciousness into partnership consciousness. And if you choose to not get on board with me, Mother Earth, you will be deleted from the program, straight out. You're not going to negotiate with Kali. You're not going to negotiate with Mother Earth. Like, we know that, right? And we know we are her children, although we've forgotten this, it seems, right? So she's here to remind us. And, you know, hey, I think 2023, we're going to see a lot of shaking, a lot of slicing and dicing by Kali Ma to show us the illusion, you know, but it's our choice. The transformation and what we choose to do with what's exposed is our choice, because we have free will. All right, and then what happens, Forrest?
Well, then we realize once again the strength and power of the feminine.
Yeah.
And there's no longer the subjugation and made less than of the feminine. And through the oneness, through the dissolution of duality, we coming into oneness, and we find that through that fierce love that's where we're going to find ourselves again. That's where we're going to fully awaken. That's what's going to finally slay the demon, is fierce love and coming into oneness. It's not going to be through divide and conquer. It's not going to be through us versus them. It's going to be through becoming one.
It's beautiful. And I love that representation in the graphic that we had of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine in union.
Yes.
Because sometimes we just see it as Shiva. The sacred masculine is surrendering, or basically stopping her, because she's wild, right? So that the feminine is wild, right? And then the masculine is peace, and he holds space for her. So in essence, they are one. In essence, we are the children of Shiva and Shakti, or we could say the sacred masculine and sacred feminine energy. And I think at the end, I love the part where, in the story that I heard, that I like to tell, is at the end, the demons are basically laying at Kali Ma's feet after she stops her rampage, after she's seen and respected. And they say, they're laying at her feet, they're surrendered, and they say, Ma, 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 because they know that they are home.
Yes. Oh,
And
I love
that's a little bit of the story of Kali. And this is an energy that we can feel in our body, and it's an energy that's needed now. Now is the time for us to show up, stand up, and speak up for radical, sacred humanism. And right now, that the feminine needs that space being held for them, so we can balance things out. And Kali Ma's with us. So thanks for joining us, and we're sending lots of love. Please be gentle with yourself, show yourself self-compassion, and face it. Let go of the fear. It's an illusion. I think that's another lesson that Kali teaches us. So we are warriors, we are soul warriors, and we are here to be our highest self. Sending love.
Love, peace, and joy to you and yours.
Blessings.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm.